way the Indian power system is changing. We have seen that there's a major transformation which is happening with the increasing penetration of renewables, especially on the distributed energy resources like PVs and EVs will impose new challenges and opportunities in the distribution grid. What I would like to emphasize here is the kind of avenues available, especially for the distribution utilities, for shifting towards smart utility operation. The first and foremost area where I really need to focus is now distribution network analytics, especially for LV grid management, monitoring, and effective utilization with the increased penetrations of distribution resources. What are the key changes which we witness today if we really need to think and try to understand? The increasing penetration of rooftop PVs, the increasing adoption of electrical vehicles, as Prabhu has rightly mentioned, increase in HVAC loads, and additions of electronic appliances in residential and commercial uses. How these changes will impact the distribution grid? I would just like to play a small video and some small PPT just to give you an understanding about how the distribution network analytics will play the important role going forward. So just give me a second.
Electricity grids are becoming more complex every day. As rooftop solar panels multiply, electric vehicles become the norm, and low-carbon technologies like heat pumps surge. Grid operators face new, serious challenges. They wonder, what will happen if a network component fails or a feeder shuts down? How will adding 50 EV charging points impact the network? How do I manage voltage fluctuations from solar power? Where are the most stressed areas in my network? How much hosting capacity is available in the network? These challenges result in simultaneous high demand, wide variations in network loading, inadequate transformer capacity, phase-wise current unbalance, voltage variation across bus bars, and tiresome and expensive handling of new connection requests with limited manpower. Traditional approaches fail to address these challenges, leading to customer dissatisfaction. What grid operators need is a cutting-edge solution that helps in effective network planning, ensuring grid stability, and moving towards net zero. Enters 𝗿𝗲𝘁𝗃, your complete solution for modern distribution grid management. Our cloud-based platform offers a suite of innovative tools for grid operators. 𝗿𝗲𝘁𝗃.plan, plan the grid efficiently. 𝗿𝗲𝘁𝗃.sim, perform time series-based grid simulation. 𝗿𝗲𝘁𝗃.mon, monitor grid with complete transparency. 𝗿𝗲𝘁𝗃.connect, automate connection requests. Now.
So from these specific video, just like to emphasize that the kind of challenges which we are going to face in the distribution grid. Coming back to what are the things which we could able to do it going forward, specifically if I need to talk more about a connection request. So the connection request or the digital transformation request, if I need to mention about it. Distribution grid analytics, the digital transformation will provide you a platform where you could able to visualize the network, you can able to see the asset details, you could able to map the loads in the generators on a single platform. These kind of platform will provide you access to a multiple user across the department, whatever the specific function wants to do, specific work on it. The critical analytics, which is important for a distribution grid, is definitely a connection feasibility, and we'll talk more about it. Another is how the dynamic load flow will help to have a network stress analysis. Third critical analytics is the hosting capacity, how much the hosting capacity available to add the new generation or the new loads or not. There are futuristic scenarios which you could able to run through by using those distribution grid analytics, which will give you a detailed insight about how much EVs and PVs you could able to add it and what would be the impact on those specific networks. So those kind of distribution grid analytic platform is the need of the hour for the distribution utilities to go forward. As far as the connection request is concerned, it is primarily by sitting at a specific distribution utility office rather than going to a specific site. By just getting a geo coordinates from the consumer, you could able to do the complete technical assessment of that connection. That is, what would be the nearest LV feeder is available to that connect to provide to that customer as a connection. What would be the DT which is going to be connected to, unless that particular LV line or the DT is having enough capacity or not. So without really visiting to a site, you could able to do the complete technical assessment of the new connection request. And it is also applicable if you're trying to add a new PVs or a EV to a consumer and then to understand the capacity available for that particular network or not. Similarly, for the distribution network assessment and planning, distribution network assessment is possible by doing a dynamic power flow, which will give you a complete understanding about overloading, overvoltage, undervoltage violations, which is shown on the diagram as red. The yellow is showing where there's a they are approaching towards the constraint areas. Power flow will able to help you to really determine where you really need to target your specific investment for upgrade. If you're going for an upgrade, the tool will also give you a flexibility, or are you going for a full upgrade or a partial upgrade, depending upon what kind of economic comparison or the technical assessment you want to do for the network. So you could able to effectively plan the network investment depending upon what are the areas which is falling into a red zone, what are the area which is falling into a yellow zone, and which specific area which you see, you will see a futuristic load growth. So depending upon the investment and depending upon the techno-commercial analysis, you could able to simulate the investment, you could able to simulate which network you want to upgrade, and could able to take the wise decision in terms of network augmentation. Another critical piece with reference to hosting capacity create scenario. So it will give you the complete information about any specific area or for any specific network, how much loads and generation which is currently connected to that network, what are the specific capacity available for us to add more loads or generation. And you can see from the diagram itself on the left side that in this current scenario, you will not have any enough capacity available to add the new loads on it. By just changing a specific conductor on a specific area, you could able to find out how much additional hosting capacity is available for you to add the new loads to that site as well. So these kind of hosting capacity analysis is possible with a distribution network analytics platforms. Futuristic scenario test, as I mentioned, that you could able to run. You are not fully aware about how many EVs or how many PVs will come to which specific area. You could able to run a specific, a scientific proven model called Monte Carlo test, which will do a multiple simulations internally as an algorithm, and then try to give you a picture where if you're trying to add a 10 or a 20 or a 50 EVs on a specific area, which are the networks or which are the specific lines and which are the specific bus which will be in network constraint. And based on that assessment, you could able to take the next step going forward. So these scenarios will help you to really plan effectively. You could able to take the decision widely. The key value delivery which you could able to see from these triangles, you will have a targeted network investment based on data-driven simulations. You can have the impact of renewables and DR penetrations in networks. You can quickly identify highly stressed area on the network. You can streamline the connection request and save time and cost with technical evaluations. There is a possibility that you could able to do simulate load scenarios on your network itself. So these are the critical benefit which is available as a venue distribution utilities with the increasing penetrations of PVR or DER. Another important area which I would like to add further, which can have a multiple avenues with the distribution utilities, especially for smart utility operation, is the smart prepayment metering and the system rollout which is happening in India, which touched upon by Prabodh as well. I think with the rollout of smart metering, we are shifting from a manual meter reading or a coffee shop reading to a remote meter reading. So the residential customer will have a accurate or a trustworthy bill, and they could able to rely to. The critical aspect, if we need to think from the smart utility distribution utility perspective, I think the average double-digit AT&C loss is the major concern for Indian distribution utilities. And one of the critical factors of this loss is contributed by billing and collection efficiency. With the introduction of smart prepayment, it will effectively mitigate the issue of billing and collection efficiency, as there is no need to generate the bill at the end of the month and then distribute and then collect the payment, as the consumer is paying in advance for the electricity use as well. The third important aspects of smart metering rollout, which will give you effective control and the monitoring of the consumer contract demand versus actual demand through smart meters. And that will not only facilitate the better network capacity planning as well as the better forecast. However, you will also define the right tariff category for the consumer as per the contract rating. The fourth area, especially in terms of the distribution utilities will get a more flexibility to offer time of day, peak and off-peak tariff for effective supply and demand management. There is another possibility where the innovative tariff can be designed for the consumer categories with their usage pattern analysis. There is a consumer empowerment, because consumer consumption monitoring is possible by the consumer in monetary terms, and they provide a flexibility to view and monitor his consumption itself. The another flexibility which is available with the consumer is consumer can pay and use as they desire. They are not really binding to pay in a month time or once in 2 months time. They can prepay, they can charge the meter on a daily basis or a weekly basis or fortnightly basis as they want. That will not also provide them a flexibility, but also provide them help them to do a budgeting of their electricity users as well. There is another mechanism possible by using those smart metering use system, where you could able to recover the old and the current debt, which is on daily basis in small amounts. And there are right technologies available with the implementation that will help utility to recover those debts and not to put any specific pressure on the consumer to pay hefty amount in one go. The last but most critical aspect is when you are able to collect the feeder, DT, and consumer metering data at the end of the month shift, and the data will be logged into the meter and collected at the backend system. This will help to do effective energy accounting and audit to find out the feeder and DT wise loss. So this will also help, not only help in terms of utility to transform their operation effectively, but also try to address effectively the key technical and financial challenges which the distribution utility is facing today. So these are the avenues which I thought would be helpful for a distribution utilities to think about. Thanks.